You're listening to Stand Tall and Own It, the podcast for high-performing female leaders who are ready to make an impact by discovering the safety that comes from understanding their own value and exercising their own authority. I'm your host, Andrea Johnson, and I'm here to tell you it is time to just truly be you, my strong friend. It's time to stand tall and own it. Hey there, welcome to another episode of Stand Tall and Own It, where we equip purpose-driven women to lead with authenticity and impact. I'm your host, Andrea Johnson, the intentional optimist, and as a matter of fact, a member of my local chamber. I was at a affinity group meeting at their monthly meeting about 2 months ago, and the speaker was talking about goal setting. It was actually really good towards the end of the year in 2024, and she was giving us all something to think about as we move forward. And everybody was tracking along with her, working on their little worksheets, and somebody kind of popped their head up and said, "Hey, how do I know if I'm going to hit my long-term goal?" Without missing a beat, the speaker just said, "Oh, no problem. You do that with regular reflection, and it's going to provide you with clear mile markers along the way to give you an idea of where you are in your journey." The two women at my table just kind of looked confused. They looked at me and were like, "What is she talking about?" Now, as you're going to see by the time we get to the end of today's episode, reflection is something that I have not only done for years, but I've systematized. So to encounter women who had never even heard of this concept was a little bit of a shock for me. But that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. And that's why we're going to look at this today. Reflection and what a powerful tool it is for your leadership. Now, reflection is more than just looking back or thinking back. It's a powerful tool that informs authentic leadership and brings clarity to our actions and decisions. So you want to be a better leader who navigates challenges with a clear mind and a focused heart? That's the power of reflection at work. So in this episode, we're going to explore how regular reflection can transform your leadership by uncovering insights, reinforcing your goals, and guiding your next steps. Plus, I'm going to share practical journaling prompts to help you start this reflective journey today. So let's talk about why reflection is so important. Reflection is a critical tool for any leader striving for authenticity and clarity. It serves as a foundation that helps leaders just kind of understand their actions, their decisions, and the impact that they have on their team and their organization. When you take the time to reflect, you're not just thinking back on your past events. You're actively engaging in a process that informs both your future steps and reinforces your core values and how you honor them. In his book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Personal Growth, John Maxwell's law of reflection highlights this concept beautifully. He says, "Learning to pause allows growth to catch up with you." The act of pausing to reflect provides you with that opportunity to assess your progress and ensure that you're on the right path. Without that pause, it's easy to lose sight of your goals or miss critical insights that can shape your leadership journey. Just like those ladies were saying, how is it that I know if I'm doing goals that have a timeline on them, but it's like a year from now, how do I know that I'm on target for that goal? Because through reflection, you can gain clarity on what is working, what needs to change, and how you can continue to grow through the process. Now, whether you're facing a setback or planning your next move, reflection equips you with the insights needed to move forward with confidence. Reflection helps you stay aligned with your core values and your goals. It's a tool that brings clarity and focus, ensuring that your leadership journey is not just about moving forward, but about moving forward with purpose. So what does that process look like? Well, to harness the power of any tool, you really need to know how to use it. I have some power tools out in the shed that pretty much nobody touches right now because it's been so long since we've used them. We need a refresher on all the safety and all that kind of stuff. But if you know how to use a tool, then you can actually use it effectively. So the process for doing reflection, what does it look like? How does it work? Is there like a journal or a manual that I can look at? Understanding and integrating it into your leadership routine is essential if you want the results. Reflection isn't just about, again, looking back. It's about actively engaging with your experiences to derive meaningful insights that inform your future actions. And I know that was a lot in one sentence, but let me break it down to 3 big steps. They're basic. I say they're big, but they're pretty basic. Step 1 is just the act of reflecting. Start by setting aside dedicated time to do it. Now, this could be daily, weekly, or even a monthly practice. During this time, focus on your recent experiences, your decisions, and maybe even their outcomes. Ask yourself questions like, what actually happened? How did I handle it? What were the results? This step is about observation and acknowledgement without any judgment. The second step is evaluate it. And John Maxwell says, it's not experience that's the best teacher, it's evaluated experience. So once you've reflected on those experiences, it's time to evaluate them. Assess what's working and what isn't. Identify patterns, successes, and areas for improvement. This step requires a good bit of self-awareness and some honesty, plus a willingness to confront both your strengths and weaknesses. Evaluation really helps you understand the effectiveness of your actions and strategies. And step number 3 is recalibrate. I love this word. It means figuring out how to make this actually work. So the final step is, based on that evaluation, make necessary adjustments to your goals, plans, or behaviors. This might involve even setting new goals or changing your approach slightly, or maybe even refining your strategies. I'm having a hard time saying it. Recalibration ensures that your leadership journey is dynamic and responsive to your evolving insights and circumstances. Consistency in reflection is the key, my friend. It's not just about doing it once in a while, but finding a rhythm that works for you, one that provides timely insights and makes reflection a practical tool in your leadership arsenal or your leadership toolbox. Now, to support you on this journey, I've created a free download called The Rhythms of Reflection. It's available in the show notes and on my website. This resource is designed to help you establish a regular reflective practice that aligns with your unique leadership style and needs. By following these steps, you create a continuous cycle of growth. Reflection leads to evaluation, which then turns to recalibration, setting the stage for ongoing development and improvement. Now, additionally, as a resource for you, I've shared 3 past podcast episodes in the show notes. In them, I go into much greater detail about the basics of reflection, the results of reflection, and then the rhythms of reflection that I personally follow. So there's some great resources, the podcast episodes and the download for you. This should get you started on the journey really, really quickly, like a good little quick start, right? But to practically apply this, let's focus on how you can put the power of reflection into action in your leadership journey. Reflection becomes truly impactful when it is consistently practiced and leads to actionable insights. So to help you with that, maybe deepen your reflective practice, here are some journaling prompts tailored to leadership. And these are going to be also in the show notes. So one of the things you can look at, so if you wanted to right now kind of take out a journal or a pen and paper, or even just open up a Google Doc on your computer while you're listening and ask yourself these questions and see what you come up with, just as a start if you've never done this process. First, what have I learned about my leadership style in recent months? Consider how your approach has evolved and what key lessons have emerged from your experiences. I know that some of the clients I've worked with, some of the workshops I've put on, some of the podcast episodes I've put together, some of the interviews that I've done, all of those things have influenced and informed where I am today. When we in the last episode, we actually looked at your unique leadership identity. If you haven't done that exercise, it's time to do it. But if you have, this is a good place to say, oh, what did I learn from that exercise? What came up for me that I need to work on? The next journaling prompt out of these 3, I'm just giving you 3 today. It's not too many. It's not like last week where you have like all these things to take down. The second question to ask yourself is, how have my recent experiences shaped my leadership? These could be specific situations or decisions, even challenges, and how they've influenced your growth as a leader. I put in I think even in the last episode that I recorded in December, I said, I've got all these deadlines going on. Why do they do this at the end of the year? I put in a couple of proposals. I had some podcast episodes that I wanted to get out the door. I put in some pitches for some talks that I wanted to give, and everything was coming up at the last minute. And then I still had a conference scheduled for a talk scheduled for January 14th and a conference scheduled for January 31st, which we're not there yet. We're still planning on that one and we're still working on it. But looking back on my recent experiences, I was out on my walk today and I thought, I might need to block off parts of January so that I also can have like a holiday and then actually get started in January rather than trying to just skate through the holiday really fast or speed through the holiday and then work on whatever it is I have due in January, because I didn't want to work on it during the time my son was out of school. He had 2 weeks off. I want those 2 weeks off with him, right? So when you reflect back on your specific situations, you can see, have they influenced my growth as a leader? Well, yeah, I think they made me stronger in my resolve to be authentically me and to say, these are the things I can and cannot do and when I will not do them, right? So how have your recent experiences shaped your leadership? And the third question to ask is, what areas do I need to grow in? If you did that leadership assessment, you identified some areas of improvement or development. But if you do this on a regular basis in your reflection, whether it's in your decision making, your communication, or your team management skills, whatever it is, or for me, calendar management, no matter what it is, if you do that regularly, it's going to be like an exponential growth factor for you. When you do that once a year, then you set goals for a year. But if you do it monthly, or if you do it weekly, and you say, how am I going to change from this week to next? You will be surprised at how fast you will grow. Because when you take things down in real time, like we talked about last week, when you work with your team in real time on some of the challenges that you might have, same for yourself. If you work in real time on some of the challenges you have, you will grow even faster. Now, these prompts are just designed to guide you through a thoughtful examination of your leadership journey, kind of helping you uncover some really valuable insights to set the stage for meaningful growth. But that's not the only piece of it. There are amazing benefits that come with reflection. And, it's nice. It's not just a nice to have. It's something that's a real game changer. I mean, if you've got something that can give you exponential growth, wouldn't you want to use it? By reflecting regularly, you unlock the full potential of your leadership style and grow in ways you might not have thought possible. Here are some powerful benefits that reflection brings to your leadership. 1, clarity and focus. One of the most profound benefits of reflection is the clarity it brings to your goals and vision. It helps you gain a clear understanding of where you stand in relation to your long-term goals, just like that woman asked in that story I told you at the very beginning. How will I know if I am on track to make my big goals? Through reflection, you can recall where you started, what milestones you've reached, and where you need to go next. This clarity helps eliminate distractions, which is especially valuable in leadership, especially value when there are constant demands and pressures. When you know where you've been and where you're going, it's easier to stay focused on what truly matters, allowing you to stay motivated and avoid burnout. Y'all, my son has just finished driver's ed with an A+. Guess who's ready to learn how to drive? And one of the things that I am very clear on is you do not focus on, I'll be probably the one teaching him to drive. And my dad taught me the same way. My dad was a private pilot. And so he taught me to keep my eye on the horizon. And this is what reflection does for you. It helps you keep your eye on the horizon while still noting the mile markers that you pass. And always when you keep your eye on that point on the horizon, you can adjust the steering wheel whenever you need to if you get off course a little bit, right? So that's what reflection does for you. It keeps your focus on that point in the horizon that you're heading toward. Number 2 in the benefit category is it reinforces your core values. Reflection allows you to stay anchored in your core values. When you review your experiences, decisions, and results, you can assess whether your actions align with your authentic leadership values or not. When there is a gap, reflection provides the opportunity to then recalibrate and return to your values. This creates a leadership style that is rooted in integrity and authenticity. Folks, we have to be very careful and aware of how we are honoring and not honoring our core values, and reflection is one of the best tools to do that. So reinforcing your core values and making sure you're living in a way that honors them and working in a way that honors them, it's priceless. Number 3, it enhances your decision making. Regular reflection improves your ability to make good decisions. By reviewing past decisions and their outcomes, you're able to identify patterns in your own decision-making process. Did you trust your instincts there? Were you a little too quick to act, or did you take the necessary time to consider all the options? This self-awareness enables you to refine your decision-making process, making you a more effective and confident leader. Now, there are some aspects to decision making that are very leadership oriented. Even John Maxwell says leaders make quick decisions. But part of that is because they've already done the reflection, they've already evaluated their experiences, they have gathered all the information, and they can act when they need to act, and they can strike when the iron is hot. So, being able to do regular reflection will really, truly enhance your decision-making ability. Number 4, it builds your emotional resilience. I don't know if it's still in my bio, but one of the lines I had in my bio for a really long time when I was doing a lot of podcast interviews was that through a lot of the things I had been through, I had learned the lesson that resilience has to be earned. And interviewers immediately say, what does this mean? You have to earn resilience. I'm like, what do you think? Resilience is something that very few people automatically have. It's not something that you just get like straight out of the womb. You don't. Resilience is something that is built through falling down and getting back up and falling down and getting back up. It's that ability to bounce back. And leadership involves navigating tough situations and emotions all the time, like every day. And reflection helps you process those emotions, making it easier to stay calm under pressure. By taking time to reflect on your emotional responses and how you handle adversity, you can build emotional resilience and increase your ability to lead with empathy and understanding. I have never been happy with my own emotional responses to things. I just am an emotional person, and I learned through some human design stuff that I have a very open emotional center. I feel the emotion, I magnify the emotion, and I have had to learn a lot, especially with a 16-year-old in my house, a lot about understanding how to lead with empathy and understanding. There's nothing that a 16-year-old boy needs more than empathy and understanding. I can speak from current, daily experience. That's what they need. And so for me, this is a huge benefit of my reflection process, is building my own emotional resilience. But the 5th benefit is continuous growth. If you go back and listen to one of those episodes that I shared in the show notes, I don't remember which one it was, but in there I talk about how reflection is just a natural part of the growth cycle. And it's not something that is a one and done. Growth is not a one and done. It is a consistent, constant practice. Reflection is also not a one-time event. It is also a continuous cycle. The more you reflect, the more you grow. And regular reflection highlights areas where you've improved. It identifies where there's room for further growth. And whether it's developing new skills or adopting new strategies, reflection ensures that your leadership is always evolving, which is essential in today's ever-changing world. Now let's wrap this up and let me give you a little bit of a review, all right? Reflection is not just a tool for the present moment. It's a vital practice that shapes your leadership over time. By making reflection a regular part of your leadership routine, you're not only gaining clarity and focus, but reinforcing your values and strengthening your decision-making process. Doesn't that sound good? Regular reflection supports your ongoing growth, allowing you to continuously adapt, learn, and become the best leader that you can be. It provides you with the insights needed to navigate challenges with confidence and helps you stay aligned with your goals and visions. Not visions. You may have multiple visions, but at least your goals and vision. Whether you're leading a team or a company or even a community, reflection helps ensure that your leadership remains authentic, purposeful, and impactful. So I truly encourage you to make reflection a priority. Start with the journaling prompts that I've provided, then download the rhythms of reflection. Set aside time to reflect regularly at whatever interval works for you. Embrace the power of this practice to elevate your leadership journey. That is my encouragement to you today. Now, before we close, I just want to remind you of 2 exciting offers that I have going right this minute. We are in January of 2025. We are still in Live to Lead season, and you can access the valuable content from Live to Lead 2024 on demand through LeaderPass. This gives you 5 days of virtual access to Live to Lead 2024, featuring 8 amazing speakers like John Maxwell, Shantae Lowe, and Malcolm Gladwell, and more. Plus, you'll get bonus access to 9 past speakers, including Marcus Buckingham, Jamie Kern-Lima, and at just $79, it is an incredible value. I've included the link in the show notes, so if you're ready to be inspired and elevate your leadership, now is the time. If you happen to be a SHRM member, you can actually earn up to, I think it's about 30 minutes, like 0.5 credits for each video that you watch. So for each speaker. So depending on the number of, I think for 2024, you might only get for like 4.5, but that's a lot, right? That's like going to an all-day conference, and you get that on your time frame, on your computer, or on your phone, or wherever you want to watch it. But it is time to elevate your leadership style. Now, for organizations with 75 or more, we offer corporate licensing with a custom branding, extended window for watching, and dedicated portal for your team. All Live to Lead and Leader Pass opportunities are available only through February 28th, 2025. The new season will open up at the 1st of October, and we will have more information on that later in the probably late spring, early summer. But if you want to take advantage of what we've got going on now, you need to do that before everything is gone on February 28th. Okay? The second offer is for my Core Values coaching program that is currently in beta. This combines my Core Values digital course with 6 one-on-one coaching sessions to help you deeply explore and integrate your core values into your life. I'm accepting only 10 beta participants, and I have about 4 on the docket that I am talking to right now about signing up. This is a significant discount because it's still in beta. If you're ready to work with your core values in a structured, thoughtful way, this is your chance to experience the program before it becomes one of my signature offers. If either of these opportunities resonates with you, don't wait. Check the show notes for details and links, or reach out to me directly. You can DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn at The Intentional Optimist, or email me at andrea@theintentionaloptimist.com to set up a discovery call. Let's take the next step in your growth and leadership journey. Now, in next week's episode, you're going to want to subscribe to the show or follow the show. Come back, because next week we're going to look at, next week we're going to look at how owning your role and taking responsibility actually enhances your leadership confidence, right? Thank you for listening. I am so excited you're here. I know it's a privilege for me to be in your ears, so thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to check the show notes for all the resources mentioned today, because it is time to stand tall and own your leadership journey, and reflection is an integral part of that, and it will enhance and prolong it. The world needs more curious, welcoming, and wise leaders who understand their core values, recognize their strengths, and live by a clear set of life principles. My friend, that is you. Until next time.